What if I told you that being single in old age could be one of the greatest blessings of your life? Most people see aging alone as something to fear, but I can tell you from experience, it can open doors to freedoms and joys you might have never imagined. At 84, I've learned that this stage of life isn't about missing out on what others have. It's about embracing the unique opportunities you have right now. When the hustle and noise of earlier years fade, you gain something rare: space. Space to choose your own pace, to live by your own rhythms, and to shape your days exactly the way you want them to be. And that isn't loneliness. That's a kind of wealth many people never experience. This video isn't here to convince you to avoid relationships. It's here to help you see that life after 80, lived on your own terms, can be deeply fulfilling, peaceful, and even exciting. I'll share 6 powerful reasons why being single at this age can be better than you expect. Reasons that can shift your perspective and maybe even make you look forward to your next chapter. Stay with me until the end, because the last reason might just surprise you the most and change how you see your future. Number 1. Freedom to live at your own pace. One of the greatest gifts of being single after 80 is the complete freedom to set your own pace without feeling guilty or pressured. When you've spent decades sharing your life with others, whether in marriage, raising a family, or caring for loved ones, your days were often shaped around someone else's needs. You woke up when the household stirred, ate when it was convenient for everyone else, and planned your schedule with someone else's comfort in mind. That's not a bad thing, but it does mean your time was rarely fully your own. Now, without those constant adjustments, every morning is yours to shape exactly the way you want. You can wake up when your body feels rested instead of when an alarm tells you to. You can enjoy your morning coffee slowly without anyone reminding you of the day's errands. If you feel like spending the afternoon reading a book in the sun, you can. If you want to take a nap at 2:00 just because the breeze is nice, there's no one to question it. This kind of control over your own time isn't about selfishness, it's about finally honoring what your body and mind need. I know an old friend named Harold who's 82. After his wife passed away, people worried he'd feel lonely, but Harold says he's discovered a kind of quiet joy in making choices without compromise. He takes long walks when the weather is just right, cooks exactly the meals he enjoys without worrying about anyone else's taste, and spends evenings sketching at his kitchen table. It's not that I don't miss people, he told me. It's that I get to live each day on my terms. That sense of ownership over his life has made him more peaceful and even more creative than he was years ago. When you're single at this age, you don't have to rush through your days or squeeze yourself into someone else's timeline. You can let your life flow naturally in a way that matches your energy and mood. That's a rare and precious gift, and one of the most underrated joys of living alone later in life. Number 2. More time for personal passions. Being single after 80 often means you have the rare luxury of time that belongs entirely to you, with no obligations to balance someone else's priorities. For many years, your interests may have been pushed to the background while you focused on work, raising children, or maintaining a household. Hobbies and dreams were often squeezed into the leftover hours, if they were pursued at all. But now, without the demands of a partner's schedule or needs, you can pour your energy into the activities that truly light you up. This is not just about filling hours, it's about reclaiming parts of yourself that may have been buried under responsibility. Maybe you love painting, but set it aside because life was too busy. Maybe you once played an instrument and always said you'd pick it up again someday. Maybe you've always wanted to write your family's history, tend a large garden, or learn a new skill. When you're single at this stage of life, someday can finally become today. I know an 84-year-old woman named Margaret who always dreamed of learning to play the piano. She raised 3 children, worked part-time, and kept her home running smoothly for decades. She never had the hours or the mental space to sit down at a keyboard. After her husband passed away, she signed up for lessons at the community center. Now she practices every morning for an hour, and she says it's the most alive she's felt in years. The music fills her home, and with it comes a sense of purpose and joy that she didn't expect at this stage. When you're free to choose how you spend your days, you're not just passing time, you're investing it in yourself. Every project you start, every skill you develop, and every small goal you achieve brings a deep sense of fulfillment. This is the season of life when you get to focus on your own growth, not because you're trying to prove anything, but because you've earned the right to enjoy what makes you happy. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 3, freedom to make independent choices. One of the greatest rewards of being single after 80 is the complete freedom to make decisions without compromise. For decades, you may have navigated life by considering someone else's preferences, what to eat, where to live, how to spend money, or even how to spend a Sunday afternoon. That shared decision-making can be a beautiful part of partnership, but it can also limit your ability to follow your own instincts. Now, the choices you make can be entirely your own, shaped only by your values, needs, and desires. This independence can touch every part of daily life. You can arrange your home exactly the way you like, even if it means having the television in the kitchen or a bookshelf in the bathroom. You can wake up when you please without worrying if you're disturbing someone else. You can travel to the places that have always called to you without negotiating itineraries or destinations. And if you want to try something new, whether it's downsizing to a simpler home, joining a hiking group, or even adopting a pet, you have the freedom to decide on your own timeline. I think of my friend Harold, who's 85. After his wife passed, he realized he had always wanted to live near the ocean. For years they had lived inland because it made sense for her work and their children's schooling. A year after becoming single, Harold sold his house and moved to a small cottage by the coast. He now spends his mornings walking the beach and his afternoons reading by an open window, with the salt air drifting in. He often says he feels like he's living the life he was meant to live all along. At this stage of life, your decisions are not about proving independence, they're about embracing it. You've earned the right to put your needs and happiness first, without guilt or second guessing. That freedom is more than just practical, it's deeply empowering. It's a reminder that your story is still being written, and you hold the pen. Number 4, more time for personal passions. Being single after 80 can open the door to a wealth of time that is truly yours. Without the daily demands of a relationship, you can direct your energy toward the activities and interests that fill you with joy. This doesn't mean you were deprived before, but partnerships often come with a natural rhythm of shared responsibilities and compromises that can quietly push your own hobbies to the side. Now you have the space to bring them front and center again. This could mean returning to something you loved decades ago, like painting, gardening, or writing, or it might be about exploring entirely new pursuits, such as learning a musical instrument, taking photography classes, or joining a local history group. The beauty of this stage is that there's no rush. You can spend hours on a project without having to explain why dinner is late, or dedicate a whole afternoon to birdwatching without feeling you should be doing something else. I know a woman named Eleanor, who at 82 decided to start quilting again after nearly 40 years. When she was younger, raising children and working full-time left her little time for it. Now she spends her mornings selecting fabrics, her afternoons stitching by the window, and her evenings sharing her work at a local craft circle. She told me, "It feels like I found a part of myself I didn't even realize I had lost." That sense of rediscovery can be profoundly fulfilling, and it's one of the quiet joys of living single later in life. The key is that your time becomes entirely your own currency. You can spend it however you wish, whether that's diving into a lifelong dream, learning something new, or simply doing nothing at all and savoring the stillness. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 5, freedom to shape your own social life. One of the best parts about being single after 80 is the complete freedom to decide when, how, and with whom you spend your time. In a relationship, social calendars often have to be balanced between two sets of preferences, obligations, and schedules. That can mean attending gatherings you don't enjoy or spending time with people you wouldn't choose for yourself. When you're single, you have the freedom to shape your social world entirely around your own comfort and desires. You can choose to spend a quiet week without any social obligations, recharging your energy, or fill your calendar with activities that make you feel alive. This could be joining a book club, volunteering at the library, having regular lunches with an old friend, or even trying something new like dance lessons at the community center. You don't have to check with anyone, compromise or explain your choices. You simply follow your own rhythm. I think of my friend Harold, who at 85 became the unofficial greeter at his local senior center. For years, his social life revolved around his wife's family events, many of which he found draining. After she passed, he slowly built his own network of friends, people who shared his humor, his love for cards, and his passion for community work. He told me he's never felt more socially fulfilled, simply because every interaction is now one he's chosen for himself. At this stage of life, your time and energy are precious. Choosing who gets that time is an act of self-respect, and the beauty is you can adapt as you go, pulling closer to those who lift you up and quietly stepping back from those who don't. It's a kind of social freedom that many people never experience until they live alone, and it's a gift worth embracing. Number 6. More space for personal growth. When you reach your 80s, life has already taught you countless lessons, but that doesn't mean growth stops. In fact, being single at this stage can open up more room for self-discovery than you might expect. Without the constant influence or expectations of a partner, you can explore new interests, revisit old passions, and even reinvent parts of yourself you may have put aside for decades. You might take up painting again after 50 years, finally learn to play that instrument you always admired, or dive into writing your memoirs. Some find joy in gardening, traveling solo, or taking online classes to learn something completely new. The important part is that you're choosing these pursuits because they matter to you, not because they fit into a shared plan. Every decision is guided by your own curiosity and sense of purpose. I think of Eleanor, who turned 84 last spring. For most of her life, she dedicated herself to her marriage and raising her family, always putting her own dreams on hold. When she found herself single in her later years, she decided to enroll in a local history course at the community college. Not only did she discover a love for research, but she also started giving talks at the town library, sharing stories about local landmarks. She says this new chapter has made her feel more alive than she has in decades. This stage of life is a rare opportunity to focus entirely on your personal journey without guilt or compromise. You get to ask yourself, what excites me now? What's left on my list to try? And then you get to go after it on your terms. That kind of growth doesn't just make the years richer, it keeps your spirit young. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 6 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Final thoughts. Reaching your 80s as a single person can feel like stepping into a completely different chapter, one that's quieter in some ways but fuller in others. For many, this stage brings a deeper sense of clarity about what really matters. You've spent decades fulfilling roles, meeting expectations and caring for others. Now you have the space to care for yourself in a way that's both intentional and meaningful. This isn't about claiming that being single is better for everyone. Life is far too personal for one answer to fit all. But for those who find themselves alone after 80, it's important to recognize the potential and not just the loss. You have the freedom to design your days, focus on your health, explore your interests, and connect with people in ways that feel authentic to you. That's not something to dismiss, it's something to embrace. I've met many people who thought their best days were behind them once they were on their own. Then they discovered that the absence of constant compromise allowed them to flourish in unexpected ways. They laughed more, they traveled, they pursued projects they'd never had time for before. Some even said it felt like a second youth, not in their bodies but in their minds and spirits. So if you're single after 80, remember that your life isn't winding down, it's simply shifting into a stage where you can live with greater intention. You get to define your happiness, your priorities, and your path forward, and that is a gift worth cherishing. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.